So students, let us start with congruency of triangles. First of all, what is a triangle? So a triangle is a closed figure with 3 sides and 3 angles. Okay? This is a triangle with 3 angles, that is angle number 1, angle 2 and angle 3. And these are the 3 sides of the triangle. So a triangle consists of 6 elements, 3 sides and 3 angles. Now what is the meaning of the word congruency? Congruency means 2 figures which are absolutely identical. For example, suppose we have 2 pages of a copy. You take 2 pages of a copy and these 2 pages, if you have a look, they are absolutely same. I have 2 pages of a copy and I am trying to keep one on top of the other. This is known as superposition. So by superposition you will find that the copy pages are absolutely same. They are absolutely identical and therefore these 2 figures you can call them, or you can call these 2 figures as congruent figures. Another example, the pages of your own book. The maths book pages, if you see, they are absolutely identical. I am talking in terms of the shape and size, not the matter written in it. The content I am not talking about. So the 2 pages of your books, they are also identical. You take your palms, your hand, and keep one on top of the others. Keep them superposition. They are absolutely identical. Those who don't have, that hand is an abnormal one, my dear children. So therefore, congruency means that particular part of a triangle or those parts of the triangle which are absolutely same, which are absolutely identical. But if some parts of a triangle are same and identical, it must be possible that the remaining parts are also same and identical. Is that possible or not? Let us check and see. So in congruency, you are using the word congruent. Congruent figures are those figures which are having the same shape and the same size. To this we have a sign which is like this, equal to with a sleeping S on it, a ulta S on it, and this particular design is known as a congruent design, the sign of congruency. So this is where we use the sign where we use in terms of writing the proof of a triangle or proof of any of the congruent figures. Now to prove the congruency, we have to undergo some tests in the figure. Now what are these tests? The first one is SSS test. That means we are having 2 triangles and these 2 triangles are having one side of one triangle equal to one side of the other triangle. Second side of one triangle is equal to the second side of second triangle, and third side of one triangle is equal to the third side of the second triangle. Now how can we say equal? By putting the same sign, same design on them. So this same sign shows that this part is equal to this one, this part is equal to this one, and this part is equal to this one. So therefore, the 3 sides of one triangle are respectively equal to the 3 sides of the other triangle. So here you can say that this triangle, suppose name is ABC, this is PQR. So you can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR by, now which test? It will be side, side, side test. I hope that is clear. Now we go to the next type of test, and that is in terms of again triangle. Here I will take an angle first. So an angle is equal, so I have made the same design on the 2 angles. One side, this side of the angle, and another side on the other side of the angle. Again I name it as ABC and this one as PQR. Now here the difference is two sides are there, but an angle is also there which is included by those two sides. So you can, now suppose if I am having another triangle where the two sides are there but that angle is here. Can I say these two triangles will also be same? No, because here they are in an order, whereas here it is a different order. So this cannot be same. So therefore this triangle will not be congruent. So here I can write triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR by SAS test. Okay, SAS means side angle side. SAS test. This was side test. Now we are having SAS test. Now we go to the third type of test, that is a triangle one angle is on the top I am taking. Now here it is not necessary the top angle only. You can, out of the three angles you can take any two. So I am taking one top angle and I am taking one side angle. I have made two different designs on them. Please have a look. So here I am having two triangles and I am again naming them as ABC, PQR. Since the two angles are same and the side which is included by those two angles is also same, you can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR by ASA test. ASA means it is a angle side angle test. Okay. Now this angle side angle can also be there in one more form, and that is you can have it in the form of this angle, this triangle and this triangle. So I can have two angles. This is one angle, this is the second angle and a side here. That is AAS test. So ASA, AAS both can be nearly termed in the same category. I don't mean to say that this triangle with that triangle. What I mean to say is two angles are here, two angles are here, but here included side is there, whereas here the side is outside the two angles apart. So therefore this is one more test, and there is one last test, that is RHS. Here you are going to have a right angle. Okay, so a 90 degree is there. R stands, now this RHS itself tells you R stands for right angle, H stands for hypotenuse, and S stands for any one side. So I am taking the lower side only. So these two triangles, they are congruent by RHS test, that is right angle hypotenuse side test. But then that doesn't mean that every right angle triangle will be having RHS test only, or every right angle triangle or any two right angle triangles will always be congruent by RHS test only. So children, we have come through four tests right now: SSS test, SAS test. SSS stands for all three sides of one triangle equal to all three sides of the other. SAS means two sides with the included angle of one triangle with two sides and included angle of the other. ASA means two angles with the included side of one is congruent to the two angles and one side of the second. AAS where the side is beyond the two angles, and RHS where the right angle, hypotenuse and the side is equal. Now children, as you can see here, out of the 6 elements, we are talking only about any three elements. Okay, that is, we are talking about either SSS, means only three sides. We are not talking about the three angles. Similarly, I am talking about only SAS, not talking about the remaining two angles and one more side. ASA, AAS, RHS, means in every congruency test over here, we are talking only about three things, three elements. What about the remaining three? So congruency test says that once you are able to write, once you are able to say that any of these three sides or angles or elements, they are equal to the three of the other triangle, the remaining three will also be equal. And that is by using the term CPCT, which means corresponding parts of congruent triangles. मतलब ये कि अगर 6 एलिमेंट में से हम लोग इस टेस्ट के द्वारा किसी भी तीन चीज को, तीन एलिमेंट को इक्वल प्रूव कर पाए, तो जो रिमेनिंग थ्री रहेगा उसको हम सीपीसीटी के द्वारा अपने आप ऑटोमेटिकली इक्वल प्रूव कर सकते हैं. उस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं सीपीसीटी, कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग पार्ट्स ऑफ कॉन्ग्रुएंट ट्रायंगल्स. अब थोड़ा सा इनइक्वालिटी भी देख लेते हैं. इन एन अनइक्वल ट्रायंगल और इनइक्वालिटी ऑफ ट्रायंगल्स, you are having triangles which are not equal, which are not congruent, which are not same. So I use the word inequality. In the inequality of triangles, you are having a triangle. The triangle can be a scalene one, it cannot be a scalene one, it can be anything, any triangle. The inequality property says that if there is a triangle and if there is biggest side in a triangle, okay, if I call this as the biggest side of the triangle, then the angle opposite to it will always be the biggest angle. Okay, the inequality triangle property says that in any triangle, if you are having a biggest side, then the angle opposite to it will always be the biggest. Similarly, if I am having an angle which is the smallest, then the side opposite to it will always be the smallest. Alright, what does this mean? कि बड़े साइड के ऑपोजिट में बड़ा एंगल ही होगा, छोटे साइड के ऑपोजिट में छोटा एंगल ही होगा, या वाइस वर्सा. If an angle is bigger, side opposite to it will be bigger. If an angle is smaller, side opposite to it will be smaller. And then the next property says that if you are having a triangle, now these rules are for all the triangles, okay, but since it is more or most of the time applicable for an unequal triangle, or if a triangle is not an equilateral or not an isosceles, you can apply there in most of the times, but these things are applied in all the triangles. So therefore, if you take any two sides of one triangle, you add them, it is always necessary कि these two addition sum that you get, the two sides addition sum that you get is always more than the third side. So here you can write the biggest, I must write here, biggest side has bigger angle opposite to it, and vice versa. Similarly, smaller angle or smallest angle has smallest side opposite to it, and vice versa. And at the same time, the third property says that take any two sides of the triangle and you add them, the addition will always be greater than the third side. So even if you add these two sides or you add these two sides, it is applicable for all the three taken two at a time. So sum of any two sides of a triangle is always greater than the third side. And similarly, when you subtract, take a triangle, subtract any two sides. The subtrand that you get, the minus answer that you get will always be less than the third side. So difference of any two sides means you subtract these two or you subtract these two sides also. So difference of any two sides of a triangle is always smaller than the third side, or less than the smaller or less than the third side. Okay, so these are the four properties of inequalities of triangle, and that is the biggest side will always have the biggest angle opposite to it. The smallest side will always have the smallest side opposite to it. The smallest angle will always have the smallest side opposite to it. The biggest angle will always have biggest side opposite to it. If you add any two sides of a triangle, the sum that you get, the total that you get will always be greater than the third side. And if you subtract any two sides of a triangle, then the subtrand that you get, the difference that you get will always be less than the third side. So that's all for today.